Alright guys, you're having a long weekend and you're just enjoying your life, but suddenly you had a pain in your jaw and you're just grinding your teeth saying like, oh, why this pain is coming now? And you wanted to walk to the grocery shop to do some shopping, but you're not able to walk. You're feeling so tired and you feel tired, but you just felt to yourself like, okay, maybe I'm out of shape. That's why I'm just getting all the symptoms. But if you're looking for that subtle symptoms of heart attack, like how they show in the movies, like they're clenching their feet, chest, or like just falling on the floor, or if you're looking for the symptoms, you'll not find it in real life. You know what? Your body is going to send you signals way before the day of your heart attack. It's going to send you signals days before or weeks before of the heart attack. If you're able to find out those signals, if you're able to read your body, the text sending you, you can able to tackle it. Today, in this video, I'm going to explain to you and make you to understand how to read these symptoms and signs so that you're able to act upon it. These signs and symptoms are very settled before you could make the frantic 999 call. If you're able to pay the attention to these signs and symptoms, you'll be able to save lives of your loved ones. Every 40 seconds in the UK, there's a heart attack happening. If you see, you might picture it like a dramatic, cinematic kind of a experience of like someone is clenching their heart and falling down on the ground. But in reality, it's more subtle and more quieter. Research shows that what doctors call as prodromal symptoms. Pro means way before the real heart attack would happen. There are some symptoms which comes, and we need to find out the symptoms, what they are. And those symptoms are like not very dramatic. They are very subtle. They are very quieter kind of symptoms. Think of the symptoms as a trailer for a movie. They come way before the heart attack could happen, like a weeks and days before the heart attack could happen. So these are the symptoms. We need to make sure we look into this so that we'll be able to take actions before the heart attack would come, all right? And it's not like we're going to experience heart attack, but the main theme of this video is like how we can able to prevent this heart attacks and how we are able to recognize those early symptoms. That's the theme of this video. When you think of the signs and symptoms of heart attack, think of it like a plumbing system. It's like your plumbing system is clogged. The heart has got arteries which supply to the heart. Let's talk about how this happens. Do you know how this happens? This happens like you got a heart and there are veins and arteries that supply to your heart, right? When these veins and arteries like clogged when they're clogged, blood can't supply to the heart. That's when heart works much harder to pump blood. For easy understanding, think of it like a drain system, and when the drain is clogged or when filled with gunk, nothing can flow through it, isn't it? The same way, sometimes people ignore these symptoms like indigestion, or they might think like maybe it's because of the stress, or they might think like so many things, or maybe I had some food in an outside restaurant, maybe because of that. But it's not actually what it is. The great problems in the world starts with small, minute things. If you're able to recognize those minute things, we can able to sort that great problem or the heart attack way before the real heart attack. Today in this video, we're going to decode these signals, find out what these signals are, uncover most commonly missed signs and symptoms that many people ignore. And also today we're going to have a plan in place as to how we can able to recognize the symptoms and find out how we can able to tackle the symptoms. It's not like I'm trying to create a fear. It's for the empowerment. I'm empowering you to make sure that you're able to find out the signals and stop someone losing their life. The first symptom is profound fatigue. This sign is like so common that we so many times try to ignore it. You'll feel fatigue. You'll feel like, okay, why I'm getting this fatigue? But actually you might be thinking like, maybe I need more coffee. Maybe I'm tired. I need to get some more coffee. But it's not that kind of a symptom. It's like you have that feeling like, and you have a question like, did I run a marathon in my sleep? That kind of a feeling, you'll get it. That much of tiredness, you'll get it. And this is the kind of an exhaustion with no sense. Like, you don't feel from where this kind of exhaustion, where this fatigue is coming. It's not from your work, not from because of stress, but it's so much of stress that you can't handle. There's so much of stress that is like of no sense. So at this point of time, you make sure you should pause and visit a GP. So why do you think this happens? Imagine your heart like a high performance engine, right? For it to function, when its fuel is getting clogged and it's not getting supply, it needs a fuel. Engine, ferociously work to supply the energy to the whole system. Like the wires or gets clogged, the engine works so faster to get supply that it gets so much tired. Like, think of it like a small apparatus. Like, when it's working so much time, automatically it becomes heated up. Example, your simple mobile phone, when you overuse it, it drains, isn't it? It's same way the body as well. It preserves some energy. When energy is used more than what as it is, automatically it becomes fatigue, tired. This is very, very unusual to your body. Sometimes a simple walk to a mailbox, you feel like you're climbing a mountain. So that kind of fatigue. How about the main event, that's the chest? The chest discomfort. It's not like a sharp stabbing pain. Forget about the sharp stabbing pain. Think of it like more like a chest tightness. Think of it like you're wearing 2 size lesser than your normal size. Like, if yours is an XL, and if you wear a small size, your chest small size, how you feel it? The tightness. That kind of tightness, this feeling of chest discomfort, normally sometimes it comes and goes. Like, if you're walking or keeping some exertion, putting some pressure when walking or doing some work, the pain in your chest becomes so much powerful. But when you're resting, you don't feel any pain. So it's kind of a peekaboo gameplay. This is a huge clue. You need to act on it. Sometimes this pain is so easy to dismiss. People think of it as a heartburn and they ignore the symptoms. But heartburn is more of like a fire. It gives that it keeps increasing it, the heartburn. But the chest discomfort or the chest pain, it's more of like a weight, not like a fire. It's like more of a weight. Someone is like sitting on your chest. Some weight is there in your chest. So that kind of a feeling, you get it. This kind of a feeling is because your heart is starving for oxygen, because there's no supply of blood, which means there's no supply of oxygen, there's no supply of nutrients, anything. So that's when your heart is like starving for oxygen, and it's just pumping so harder to function. If you feel that this is new, and if there's a change in your chest and there's a discomfort that you're happening, though it's mild, it's time where you need to take an action and pay attention to it. The third point is feeling of discomfort in other areas. Like, you get a pain here in your chest, but if you discomfort in other areas, this is where you feel so tricky. The pain is not always local. It's not always here in your chest. It radiates to your arms, to your right arm, to your left arm, it radiates to your back, between your shoulders, between your shoulder blades. It just radiates everywhere. You know why this happens? This happens because when you have this pain sends a signal to your brain to respond. And because all our nerves and veins are like wired in same one place, sometimes your brain get confused and thinks, and it sends signals to different body parts, and it sends like signals to your arm and your back and all the stuff. So if you have a chest discomfort, and if that's pain, and if that's chest pain is like radiating to your left arm, that's the red flag. That's an indication that you need to act, you need to pay attention to it. The reason why you're having pain in different parts is like your brain, your nervous system responds to your discomfort, your pain, and then it sends the signals and it confuses, because because it's just got some cross wiring everywhere in your brain. The fourth symptom is the silent gasp, or otherwise called as the shortness of breath. You'll feel the shortness of breath so much, like if you're trying to catch a bus, if you're running, if you're sprinting it, we understand you'll become so tired, like you gasp for breath. But this is not something like that. Like you feel even you'll feel difficulty breathing if you just walk for little distance. Suppose if you're trying to climb stairs, you'll feel gasping for breath. That kind of shortness of breath. This is like your body talking to you, giving you signals. So difficulty breathing or shortness of breath is one of the critical signs and symptoms, and this happens because your circulatory system, blood vessels gets blocked and there's no supply of oxygen. And if you say because of no supply of oxygen, nutrients, fluids and everything, there's some fluids get built up in your lungs and you feel difficulty to breathe. That's the reason why you have this difficulty breathing. Think of it like a garden hose. Like when there's a kink in any of the wires, when there's some block in the garden hose, you don't get supply, so that it just keeps dribbling. The water keeps dribbling and all the stuff. So it's that kind of a symptom. The fifth symptom is nausea and vomiting. Also one of the early symptoms of heart attack. You might be thinking, why nausea, vomiting when it's related to your heart? Yes, your heart sits just above the digestive system. When its heart is in pain, when it's in discomfort, obviously it sends signals, and it also irritates the nerves. So that's the reason why you feel nauseous. You don't feel good. You feel like a heartburn. Sometimes people mistake as like, oh, it's just nausea and vomiting. No, it's more than that. The sixth most subtle symptom is dizziness and feeling cold sweats. It's not like it's like a very warm day and you're feeling so sweaty. You're feeling like you're feeling so much of sweat. Feeling of dizziness. The feeling of dizziness is very sudden. Like weeks ago, just a sudden onset of dizziness. You feel lightheaded. You started to feel sweat. Your body becomes so cold, and you try to understand like why this is happening. The reason why it's happening is like your heart is not supplying oxygen to your brain as well. Like it's not supplying enough of oxygen, enough of blood to all the other body parts. That's when your brain sends a signal. Like it's like your whole body is like screaming that it's lacking oxygen, it's lacking all the blood supply. And then because of lack of oxygen to your brain, you feel dizzy, you feel lightheaded, right? And what about this cold sweat, or like your body started to sweat? It's because when you don't get enough supply, when there's no enough supply of blood, normally your heart rate increases, but your blood pressure drops, and your blood pressure goes like hypotension goes like 80 and like 70, like 70 systole, like 80 by 40, like that. That's like 80 by 40. That's low in a blood pressure, and because of that, like your nervous system sends signals, and it's like your body is screaming for all the discomfort that's happening, and you feel so sweaty, and you feel like your body is very cold when you touch it. It's like your body is shouting mayday, mayday, without even telling any words, like this, because body can't speak, isn't it? A special warning for women, because if you see the medical history, the heart attack was mostly just talking about men, but when it comes to women, it's very subtle. There are a few symptoms that are only specific for women. Sometimes we tend to ignore the symptoms. So these are the symptoms for women. Although chest pain is common for men and women, but the pain where it comes for women, just between their shoulder blades behind and above the shoulders and neck. There's neck pain, and also there's a pain in their jaw. There's specific signs and symptoms that women experience, and also indigestion. They feel so indigestion. They feel heartburn. They also feel like very sudden onset of like shortness of breath without the chest pain. It's something that they're in the women. And also they have a sleep disturbances. They have increased anxiety. They feel like impending doom. If you feel like it's sudden change, if you feel like if you don't feel well, if you feel like it's not something really you're happy with your health, if you feel like it's a fun fundamentally wrong, please get it checked. A small note for older adults, older people, especially people who are above 65, people who are living with diabetes or hypertension and other medical problems. Sometimes they get chest pain, or when they get this chest pain, it's not a very severe chest pain, they may get a mild chest pain, and also they'll have a sudden development of confusion, they'll develop weakness, suddenly they'll have frequent falls, unwitnessed falls. When you recognize these symptoms, the carers or the others who are taking care of them, sometimes it's easy for us to just ignore, like, okay, they are growing old, maybe that's why they are falling down, and so all this kind of, so it might be simply strike out this signs and symptoms, but this is for all the caregivers and the healthcare workers who are working around this older people. Always make sure that if there is any change in their behavior, any change in their observations, please kindly attend the medical specialty as soon as possible. What to do right now? The action plan. If you're noting for the symptoms, if you feel like the symptoms are suddenly coming, persistent, all the symptoms are happening at once, the time for guessing is over. Remember the phrase, time is muscle. The more time you take it to respond, the more damage could happen to your heart. The non-negotiable plan is, feel the symptoms. If you feel you have these signs and symptoms all at once, please call 999 right away for the emergency support. Don't wait and say, or wait for someone to come and talk to you. Make sure that you go call 999 immediately. Don't drive yourself to the hospital. Always call for the ambulance. The reason why is because paramedics are there on your side. If anything untowards happen at that moment, they are your best chance. They can able to help you out. You can take aspirin if you are using aspirin, but don't take aspirin without doctor's medical advice. And don't take aspirin if you're allergic to aspirin. Always make sure that you take medications with the prescription. And if you're advised aspirin, take the aspirin, because the reason why I say is because aspirin stops blood from clotting. So it prevents the clot, which reduces the heart damage. But first and priority thing is, like, don't look for the aspirin always, but first call for emergency help. The other thing is, when you're waiting for the ambulance, always sit calm, sit down and stay calm and wait for the ambulance. So in the conclusion, so when you have this like difficulty breathing, chest pain, nausea, vomiting, and like you're feeling severely fatigued, so when you have all these kind of symptoms at once, make sure you act on it. It's not like I'm trying to scare you, just I'm trying to give you prior information so that you may be able to know and recognize the symptoms early before you could get the heart attack. Beyond listening to this, it's always to protect your heart, protect your cholesterol, check your blood pressure, manage your blood pressure, make sure you healthy lifestyle, eating well, sleeping well, reducing your stress levels, doing regular exercise, drinking lots of water, using alcohol, stop smoking. It's a game changer. Take these initiatives and taking steps towards protecting your heart. We can actually prevent heart attack being happen. If you feel that today this video is armed with knowledge, and please share it to the ones who requires it. Maybe someone somewhere requires this knowledge to know the early signs and symptoms of heart attack, so that they may be able to act on it, so that they may be able to recognize it and get medical help soon before they have this heart attack. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you feel like you like this video, please kindly like my video, so that I may get that encouragement to do more videos like this to help you about these health problems that everybody's facing in their lives.